G'day fellas, Jim Harnwell here from Fishing World magazine. Just up in the upper Shoalhaven River fishing a nice little rocky snaggy bank. Here with my buddy Stephen Gill, better known as Gillie. Gillie's a pretty well-known tournament angler in the brim circuit. Thought it'd be a really good idea to run through a few of the tips and techniques you need for comp success, just in case any of you guys are interested in getting into the competition scene. Now there's a lot of comps around these days. Some are serious and some are a bit more social, but there's still, you know, competitions, and people who fish in them want to win.
Yeah, g'day guys, Steve here. Look, what we're doing here is probably something how I would approach a pre-fish day. We just come out with a mate and you just think of the time of year, for example. So we're thinking a lot of the brim have moved back into the river now after they're spawning through the winter, yellowfin brim we're talking about. And they'll congregate in schools when they move back in before it really warms up. They spread out. So what we're doing is approaching it with a hard body approach in close. Jim's just bumping a deep lure down onto deep crankbait, down onto the rocks there. And I'm just fishing a blade bait out further, just on the drop off here, which is probably about the 10-12 foot mark. And we're just searching that way. And if either of us come up with a pattern that seems to be working there, we just obviously both swap to that technique. And then over the course of the day, or however long you were pre-fishing for, you would come up with a pattern there that you thought, this is what we'll do on comp day. Whether or not you found any fish, sometimes that's what pre-fishing is all about, not finding fish. Because you know we're not to go on the comp, which that seems funny, but that is one way that I use to approach it. It's not a total loss by not catching fish.
Just say when you're doing this pre-fish, mate, because a lot of people mightn't understand what a pre-fish is. It's actually a day before the comp, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be. Like a lot of tournaments have a pre-fish ban of 2 weeks prior to the tournament, but they'll allow you 1 day, the day before the tournament actually starts. If it's say a 2 or 3 day tournament, you'll get the 1 day before that to actually get out there. You might travel like 2,000 kilometres to get to that tournament. I mean, that's an exaggerated one, but there are people who do that. I mean, I've actually had people on my boat that have flown from WA to the Hawkesbury River here to do a tournament. So, yeah, that's what Jim was getting at, that you have the 1 day before the tournament there to try and work out the system, so to speak, and work out, I mean, it's a pretty hard gig, but it can be done.
Now, just say you were pre-fishing and you came across, you know, a really good patch of fish.
Yep.
And you hooked a good one and got him to the boat.
Yep.
Do you keep fishing it, or
no.
do you sort of mark it and go away?
Yeah,
or?
look, if I know the area well, I might just pull up and get 1 or 2 fish, even 1 bite. I might even flatten the hooks over on a treble so that I know I'm not going to catch the fish, because I know what a brim bite's like. But you still want to know they're there, like as we all know, fish swim. So that you want to know they're in the area, even if you've fished that place for 30 years. Now, if I did find fish, I'd mark where they were, or I'd work out what sort of techniques we were going to have to use to catch them. And I might catch 1 or 2 just to make sure they're biting and that I'm using the right approach. And then, yeah, if Jim said I caught a big one, I'd probably be pretty upset if I caught it on pre-fish day. You'd just like to get a couple of school fish, really. If that happened early in the day, I'd move elsewhere in the system and just find out if there was backup areas, because I might get to that area and they might have moved overnight, or there might be other anglers fishing that area that's going to make it tougher, and you might, especially in a 2 or 3 day tournament, you'll need more than 1 spot. It just depends on the system really there.
And I guess you were talking before about searching, which we're trying to do at the moment. You've got a blade on, I've got a hard body on.
Yep.
I guess being able to quickly adapt, like if they're biting on blades or if they're biting on hard bods, to quickly get out there. That's why you have like 4 or 5 rods rigged up?
Yeah, that's correct, Jim. That like I know guys have 10 rods on their boat, which that's probably going over the top. But look, I usually take 4, and I'll keep another one, a 5th one in the rod locker, that maybe just a backup in case one fails.
So what lures would you have on those rods?
If I'd have worked out that they were on crankbaits, I might have 2 or 3 different ones of those rigged up. I might have a plastic on there, maybe a hidden weight, just for lighter presentations, and I might have a blade on as well. But you would have usually sorted all that out on your pre-fish day. That's the aim of the pre-fish day, is to sort out what you're going to have, even with your 5 rods.
So just say you're fishing a comp, just say in the Shoalhaven, and you find the fish, 15 mile up the river or something. Is that where the big high performance boats come in, because you can zoom up there really quickly?
Absolutely, and once again, on the pre-fish day you can cover more miles. But look, there's a lot of guys win boats out of small tournaments, out of small boats, and the reason for that is they may focus on one area rather than having the ability to run. They're not going to waste an hour and a half running to a spot.
Yeah.
You don't need to. I mean, look, I wouldn't go back because it is a lot more comfortable in rough water, and it's definitely better having the option to go wherever you like. It doesn't mean you won't fish at the start line. You might have the 150 and put a half an hour on it for the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is definitely look, it's an advantage because you have the option of both.
So Gillie, just say we were fishing a tournament now and we'd caught, you know, our bag of just medium-sized sort of school fish.
Yep.
And we just kept catching that exact same size fish, you know, all the time, and it's obviously not going to benefit us in any way. Would you move on and try and specifically target a bigger fish?
Yeah, for sure, Jim. If you've fished that area for a while and you've been getting numerous fish and they've all been around the same size, look, a lot of people would just stay there and hammer away at them, hoping for a bigger one, but I probably wouldn't personally. I'd probably move on to an area, even if I didn't know the system that well, I'd just move to maybe look for other areas the same as where those fish are that may hold fish. I mean, I might fish for nothing for the rest of the day, but in the end it's probably the same result as casting into a school of fish that are all the same size. You're not going to upgrade there anyway.
Is there spots that you could sort of recommend as being, you know, generally more sort of big fish productive than other spots?
Yeah, well, I mean, rock and snag structure, I mean, you definitely see big fish around structure. It's very unlikely to catch a big bream swimming around the middle of nowhere, whereas you do catch a lot of smaller bream on an open sand flat with no weed or anything. They just seem to go on there. I don't know if they've learnt not to yet or not, but whereas a big bream, that you'd have to have some sort of weed or gravel on that patch on the flat just to make it some sort of cover for them. Yeah. So yeah, I'll look for that sort of thing, and but look, largely I'll look for rocks, or even bridge pylons are good places to target a big bream. Oyster racks, I mean, without a doubt, if there's any of those in the system, there's massive fish in there. Whether or not you're going to stop them or not's another thing. Yeah. Deep rock edges with a lot of current are definitely a good place for big bream too. Very hard areas to fish though.
Yeah, hard to fish.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of people can do that. They just get snagged all the time. You've got to really know what the bottom feels like there. I mean, you might be fishing 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 foot deep there, and to be able to feel your lure bouncing on the rocks there, you've got to do that sort of fishing a lot to get good at it. So a lot of people shy away from that sort of thing.
I suppose that sort of leads to the question too, that, you know, if you're going to succeed as a comp angler, you have to be a pretty good all-round.
A lot of the guys who've been fishing their whole life are the real threat. And I mean, as we said, there's the preparation that goes into tournaments is what wins a lot of tournaments. Like,
yep.
Not just the pre-fishing, but also making sure all your tackles, say you're going to use a deep crank, you would have all those lures, if you were going to retrofit them with the right hooks that you wanted to use rather than the ones that came on the lure, you'd make sure all that was done. If you were using plastics, you'd have your packets cut open, ready to go. Yeah, look, that's the main thing, I think, is preparation. Like, a lot of guys just head back after day one, leave the boat there, go down the pub for the night and have a few beers and a feed, and then there's other guys, the real serious guys, will be at home, they'll make sure all their rods have been re-rigged, the boat's fueled up, everything's working, and that way when they get up in the morning they don't have to worry about any of that sort of stuff. They just go out and they know they're ready to roll. So if the fish turn on, they're going to do it, they're going to be the ones.
There must be some happy medium though, mate, where you can go and have
You've got to have fun.
Beers.
You've got to have, I didn't say I don't have a few beers, Jim. But you do all that stuff first. Like generally I'll get back in the afternoon, fuel the boat up on the way back, make sure it's all ready to go, and then look, you're still ready to have a beer at 4 o'clock. So
sure.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing though, a lot of people, you know, they mightn't be particularly interested in comp fishing. I mean, I'm not all that interested in it. I've fished a few social comps, and I actually was surprised at how much I enjoyed them. Yeah. But you definitely learn a lot, don't you? You learn a lot about fishing. Yeah, look, fishing, no matter even if you're not doing the tournaments, it never ends. But yeah, I think more so in the tournaments, because there's so many anglers around you that are willing to help and willing to give out information, and plus you hear what the guys who caught the big fish or the big bags for the day, you hear what they were using. So Gillie, you know, if someone's out there watching this little video clip and they're thinking about, you know, maybe they might like to do a couple of tournaments, see what it's like. I mean, you know, the people are friendly, it's all pretty laid back, is it? Yeah,
look, I've made some mates now that I like from Melbourne even, that just purely through tournaments. Like, we've been away at a caravan park doing a tournament. A mate of mine's driven past, and well, he's now a mate, he wasn't then, didn't know him from a bar of soap. He's driven past, pulled up, had a chat, now I'll go away and stay with him. That's cool. Just, I've met some of my best mates have come from tournament fishing. So yeah, I mean, there is people who bag tournaments. They think, I don't know, they're probably guys who have never done it. It's just like anything else in life. But yeah, look, no, you're definitely going to make great friends doing it. And it's a great way to get away. You can even take the wife. Me and her are going away soon to do some grand finals. We're going to stay at Foster. We've got a place on the water, the pool, have barbecues in the afternoon. You know, go out to a club for a couple of nights. I mean, it's a good family thing. Yeah, you're away for 7 hours of the day, but look, I'd definitely recommend it. Look, I've been doing them now for 6 or 7 years and I can't fault it. I love it.
Got him on, mate?
Yeah, mate, I just hooked a reasonable sized fish in here along these rocks.
Ah.
Just throwing an SX43 along there, and it's been pretty quiet. We just had a couple of taps and come up trumps on him. I'm just going light on him. He's taken a fairly big run already.
Yeah.
And just hoping I don't pull the hook out of him. Want to get him in.
It's a bream.
It is a bream.
It's a good bream too. All right.
Well
Well
not
done.
a bad way to finish the day.
Wow, that's a cracking bream.
It is a cracking bream. A couple of those in a tournament's what you're after.
Oh yeah, fantastic. There you go, guys. Cracking bream there Gillie got just at the end of the day. He'd be, easy 36 centimetres, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he'd be around 36 fork. He'd be a kilo, I'd say.
Kilo fish.
It's a little bit skinny, so he may be just under, but...
Well, there you go, guys. I hope you can see from the video that Gillie and I put together for you today that bream fishing is a fantastic sport. Urge you to get out there and give it a go. Gillie, fantastic fish, mate.
Oh, mate, yeah, look, we better do the right thing and get this fish back in the water. There's fish like that are too important to take, so anything up around the kilo size has been there a long time, could be 20 years old, so definitely worth keeping in the environment. Wow. And the value of that fish to us as recreational anglers is just massive. You know, everyone wants to catch those. So especially on a hard body lure like that, that was a good, makes the day.
Awesome stuff, mate.
But, so we'll get him back in the water.
All right, guys. Well, hope you enjoyed the clip, and we'll see you out there.
And off he goes. Make some other lucky angler happy.
Well done, mate. Good stuff.